If you've played much blackjack, you know that at times it just feels like the game is rigged. But is it? I'm going to share with you what casinos do, the strategies people use to try to beat the casinos, as well as what actually works. Joe the Gambler wants to know that while he's had winning nights, why is he just so unlucky at the blackjack tables? But before I answer it, why don't you put below in the comments the first thing that comes to mind, and then we'll see if you're right. Usually Joe the Gambler has several theories, but misses the big one. When you have a better hand than the dealer, you win. When the dealer has a better hand than you lose. When you have the same hand, you push. Nobody wins or loses. But what happens when both you and the dealer bust? You still lose. You see, the game is designed in a way to have a built-in disadvantage against the player. And that isn't enough for the casinos. As some smart players figure out how to use some of the rules to their advantage, casinos then limit or remove those rules. Here's an example. Back in the day, Atlantic City had a rule called early surrender, which meant that you could give up half of your bet if you didn't like your hand before the casino even checked to see if they had a blackjack. A very small percentage of people learned how to play that game so that they had the advantage because of that rule. What did the casinos do? They removed the rule.
It was around the beginning of December of '79. They accidentally gave the player the option to surrender before the dealer checked for blackjack. Everybody just played as many hours they possibly could because every day there was a rumor, this will be the last day. Yeah. How long can this go on? We increased our bankroll in 13 days from 40 to 100,000. One day, resorts actually had a losing day, in the casino.
Same thing with single deck with 3-2 on a blackjack or dealers standing on a soft 17. The casinos are removing the rules that are better for the player so they can keep a larger edge against the player. Now, there are hands where the player has an advantage against a dealer. Imagine you have an 11 against a dealer's 6. You can double down and that gives you a 67% advantage on that hand. But then again, the casinos limit our double downs. You can only double down on your first 2 cards. You can only double down to the amount that you originally bet. All of this stuff, the casino knows what they're doing. The same thing with splits. Casinos know that a pair of aces is good for the player, so some casinos won't even let you split a pair of aces. Other casinos you can split, but you only get 1 card, you can't hit to it, you can't double down. They limit you to their advantage. There's another hand that gives the player a huge advantage. Can you think of it? It's a blackjack. If the dealer gets a blackjack, we lose our bet. But if we get one, we get more than our bet on a blackjack, usually 1.5 times our original bet. But the casino wants more of Joe's money, so they've started installing 6 to 5 blackjack tables so they can get as much out of you as possible. It's incredibly important for Joe to know that the casinos do not want winners, so they're going to set up the game in a way to try to limit players from ever beating them. But Joe is not a victim. He's done research and has come up with a plan. One time at a table Joe was playing at, a player came up with a strategy to counteract the fact that the player loses when both he and the dealer bust. Joe was playing proper basic strategy, but this other player, whenever he got a hand that could cause him to bust, he would stay on it, and he was winning. This actually comes from a true story of someone that I was training at blackjack, and he came to me and said, is this a viable strategy? Can I just not hit hands where I might bust so that I can beat the casino by letting them bust? No. It turns out you lose money 8 times faster with the no bust strategy compared to basic strategy. This is one of the worst strategies anyone tries to employ at a blackjack table in a casino. We break down all the math in another video, but just because someone was winning in the short term with it does not mean it's sustainable, and you are guaranteed to lose your money way faster using this strategy than not using it. But Joe's not trying to be greedy at the tables. He just wants to win a little bit every time he goes to the casino. So his new plan is to quit while he's ahead. This is an interesting strategy that I hear a lot. Plenty of people, when you're playing at the casino, you're up at some point, but then if you keep playing, you lose it back and then some, and you're thinking, I just need to quit while I'm ahead. The interesting thing is the odds of being up something like 3 bets is about 75%. You can quit while you're ahead a few bets and simply not come back. But the thing is, you have to never come back. What if you come back to the casino on another day and just try to do this again? The second time you come back, if you try to be up another 3 bets, then that's actually trying to be up 6 bets. Try to do it a third time, that's being up 9 bets. The cards at the table don't care when you start and stop again. You can't trick the odds into forgetting about you. Saying you want to always win just a few bets every time you go to the casino is saying you want to have an infinitely large winning streak. It's statistically not possible. Every hand of blackjack you play is increasing towards this long run of the odds working out. And like we already said, the odds are stacked against you. Not to be dissuaded, Joe has heard other things like progressive betting, making sure you're always playing with quality players at the table, finding dealers that are busting, and making sure you don't mess up the flow of the cards. But none of these stand up against the mathematics of the game. Now we're back to square one. It's all rigged. But there is a glitch in the matrix. Depending on the rules and conditions, there is a strategy based on math and logic that is perfectly legal and it works. Like I said earlier, I've run teams responsible for beating casinos for millions of dollars, and we did it with card counting. It's not easy, casinos do not like it, but it does work. Find out how and why in this video.